Thank you very much, Daniela and Brenda. Thank you very much to all of the student council members and for making this year your year. Really appreciate your leadership and engagement. You have voted for your class speakers. It is my great pleasure to call Nikki and Gianluca to the stage to give your address. Nikki and Gianluca, please come to the stage. Thank you.
All right, let's get the show started. Dear Dean Veloso, Dean Pyre, Honorable Jacqueline, faculty, and staff, thank you so much for your leadership in guiding us to this incredible moment.
And thanks to our stars, the class of 23D, give us some energy again. So, for the next 15-20 minutes, we hope to take enough pride of this journey together, or at least to keep you all awake. But jokes apart, what Nikki and I would like to do is to go through memory lane first and try to summarize this year, which is a big challenge. And also we would like to share a couple of points for why we believe this year has been so special since the very first day.
Absolutely. So it feels a lot like we're back at the first day of school. We're all in an amphitheater, a little bit nervous, but a lot of good energy. And everyone's looking pretty sharp. Or at least sharp until you switch into your sweatpants and shorts in a few days. But well done, 23D, you clean up real well. And wow, it looks like we have new students and our class got a little bigger. Right behind us are our wisest new additions. Yes, you, our parents, our loved ones, partners, and friends we call family. We'd like to express our deepest gratitude to you, whether you are here with us right now or tuned in online. We wouldn't be here at this magical moment without you. This one's for you. Now, before we dive in, Gianluca and I wanted to do a bit of a location check because INSEAD really does bring in a global crowd. Yes, you are currently in Singapore. Yes, some of your children did say they're going to a French business school based in Fontainebleau. And no, you didn't take a wrong turn. Fontainebleau and Singapore really are 11,000 kilometers apart. We get it. It's all a bit confusing. Speaking of Fonty and Singy, let me just say, these might be two of the most spectacular places we'll ever live. In fact, I doubt we'll ever top some of this greenery, living conditions, or exuberantly painfully high rent in the future. That is, unless, of course, your future plan somehow involves renting out the Eiffel Tower or this wonderful building, the Marina Bay Sands.
Yes, and beautiful, inspiring campus locations are just one of the things that take INSEAD apart from other business schools, right, Nikki?
Absolutely, but there's so many more. Let's talk about some of them. Instead of saying semesters, we say we have 5 periods. Instead of saying, wow, you're trilingual, we say, why, yes, I fulfilled my 3 language requirements and I'm incredibly proficient in large language AI models.
Also known as ChatGPT.
And instead of saying we're a class made up of over 60 nationalities who will someday become leaders and nation movers of tomorrow, we proudly say, do you have time to practice a case with me? I want to better my strategic recommendations because I want to be a consultant. You see, when you graduate from INSEAD, you not only graduate from one of the world's highest ranked and demanding educational programs, but we also struggle to process how some of our classmates manage to travel every single weekend without secretly being flight attendants on EasyJet, Singapore Airlines, or Scoot. I guess as the French say, c'est la vie.
So, should we fast forward and go through memory lane a bit, Nikki?
Absolutely. We started the year with a PLDP bootcamp. For our loved ones who may not know, PLDP is a program focused on growing our personal and group leadership skills. Now, what that actually mean? We were a bunch of strangers sent to a rural island in the south of Singapore called Kusu, where we battled heat and dehydration as we built bridges.
Yeah, I don't really know about dehydration, but probably you mean hypothermia in the cold, rainy forest of Fontainebleau.
Gianluca, didn't they tell you what to wear?
I mean, in the email they said what you wear doesn't matter.
Ouch. That's pretty cold.
And let's fast forward to Master Strategy Day. For those who don't know, Master Strategy Day is like a big capstone in which we are assigned a real client. And with the biggest surprise of everyone, for us, the client was the Chateau of Fontainebleau.
The chateau looked really beautiful on the VR headsets we got out here in Singapore.
Yes, so beautiful that it nearly convinced me to do a 5 kilometers run, because this is what we do in Fonti. We just run by Napoleon's favorite palace.
Gianluca, have you actually ever run 5K?
No, I ran to Darden before a croissant.
Yum.
And talking about food, how can we not mention Zeki, who was our barista in Fonti and the fixer of many, many other things.
Ah, yes, Zeki. Well, he must be brothers with Sue. Sue was not just our leading barista here in Singapore. He also knew each and every one of us, our name and our orders, supporting us with his trademark smile and our much-needed daily caffeine fix.
Not all heroes wear capes.
But sometimes they wear aprons. All right, for all the parents out there, we also did exams. Period 1 exams marked the first time in over 7 years that many of us actually have held a pen for multiple hours on end. Think about it. Holding a pen is just not something you do that often in 2023.
The libraries became a zoo. I remember lines and lines of desperate people trying to print the notes from the classes because most of the exams were open book and they would hope that those notes would save them from the exam.
Spoiler alert, the notes did not save us. I think the average on the corporate financial policy final was a 20 out of 100.
Thank God for the curve.
In the curve, we trust.
And in P3, the environment changed again because the campus exchange was allowed, so people moved from Fontainebleau to Singapore, from Singapore to Fontainebleau. Some people were to Wharton, San Francisco, no, Shanghai, Abu Dhabi. So many campus locations that other business schools just do not have. And even in P4 and P5, you'd walk into campus and meet people that you didn't meet before. This is another magic of INSEAD. And eventually, after being all over the place, we reunited all together in our final graduation trip.
That's right. This week, 400 students went to the Marriott Hotel in Phuket, and we really prayed for all the other guests.
We had a bit of sport with our Olympic Games.
Together, we cheered, we hugged, and we shouted, and we found out that we have many athletic classmates.
And this section was brought back together. And they shared, once again, the sense of camaraderie that they had 7 months before. And even though only one section won, we all won on that day.
But perhaps the real reason that INSEAD is so great is that it trusts us, its students. By building a classroom not just of different nationalities, languages, and races, but of diverse journeys, INSEAD really lays the groundwork out for the incredible to form. Diversity is our strength. We have the louder voices in the classroom. We need those voices. They are the voices of those who break the intimidation barrier, the voices that are both our advocates and our arguers. They are our engine room. But also, let's take a moment and chat about some of the other powerful voices in our cohort. For those whose native language isn't English, you applied your unique voice to show us that standardization is not a single straight line. You immersed us in your ways, drew us on our commonalities, and applied the universal language of numbers to absorb, solve, and teach. That takes courage, and I applaud all of you. Next, those from non-business backgrounds are athletes, engineers, lawyers, artists, and policymakers. Completing a 24-month curriculum in just 10 months meant you were going at 500 kilometers per hour every day without having an undergraduate business cushion to fall back on. Despite this headwind, you found your footing, and learned how to fashion your unique foundation to strengthen all of us. I applaud you for the challenge you took on. No matter if you're a louder or quieter, a native English speaker or not, a consultant or an engineer, we taught each other something along the way. That often, the most powerful statements are those with no words. Those quiet smiles, nods, and handshakes during hallway passes. Those cups of coffee we brought each other before a way too early 8 a.m. start. Or gently placing your arm around someone that might just turn their day around. Those unspoken gestures make a world of a difference. They are our universal communicators. We must take a moment to remember them. Remember them as we move into the next part, applying ourselves. You see, the reality is that our world is currently the most polarized it's been in some time. Far right, far left, war across different regions, a language of us versus them, a language charged with opposition and discrimination surrounds us. Much of this polarization stems from our values, and make no mistake, values are really important. But who's to say that one set of values is more important than another, or that two sets of values may both be right? Our power and politics professor, Andy Yap, shared some words of wisdom, which I'd like to paraphrase here. It's not necessarily about meeting in the middle, because in the real world, meeting in the middle is hard. That tends to be utopian fiction. But what I'd like you to take away from this here, now, is that our experience here at INSEAD shows us that each and every one of us have discovered just how much we have in common. And that's more than enough to begin building the foundations for something incredible to occur. So from this point on, let's cultivate our humility to teach others that it's okay to be different. Because if this inspiring collective of international intellect cannot lead the way as the peacemakers tying the world back together, who can? And now, Gianluca, do you want to take us from chatting about diversity to chatting about the definition of success?
Absolutely. So this year, we at many instances came together and we showed how much our differences, how much success our differences can make when they merge for a common interest. I can think of a couple of examples, like when the consultants delivered thousands of cases to help the others for consulting interviews, or during Culture Week, in which you will walk into campus and be overwhelmed by the willingness and the pride of everybody to share their culture with the others. So we mentioned this word, success. But what does success mean? What does it mean for us? So this year, we have been busy in defining our place into the business society, our business success. And to find a metric for what great looks like for business success is pretty straightforward. We can look at the number of zeros in our paychecks, at our job position, or at how the price of the stock of our company fluctuates. But life is not a stock. It does not have a price, and it's not only ours, because we belong to a bigger ecosystem. And I believe a day will come in which us, as successful MDs, CEOs, entrepreneurs, will look back and ask ourselves the question, was my life a success? It was Aristotle who said, the goal of life is happiness, and to define a metric for happiness is a lot harder. When our children grew and our parents aged, were we there for them? When a loved one is facing some issues, did we manage to assist him or her? When a friend asks for the right advice because maybe he or she wants to undertake a new venture, did we give the right advice? So look, personally, I don't think that our biggest challenge in the future is going to be successful. It is going to be to build a world in which our success and our happiness can coexist together. And let's be honest, we are not superhumans. We will be very busy. We will face trade-offs of time and energy. So who will be those assisting us, providing the help that we need during this challenge? Who will be those there for us, our families, and the missions that we choose? Those who have been there during this year and will continue to be there in the future. Because we said we are different but similar. And if there is one thing that I believe we all share during this year, is that when somebody asks for help, we always said, I am here and I will do everything I can. This is why I believe we will be there in the future for each other's families. This is what I call a force for good. And it starts from the daily acts of appreciation. And because it starts from the daily acts of appreciation, we would like to invite you, 23D, to rise. Please stand up. Please stand up. Look at the people next to you and share a handshake, a hug. Thank them for this year together. Those are your peers, the people you will stay with to build a better future all together. And
Yeah.
and please keep standing, keep standing. We are not finished.
As a class, we're going to ask you to turn around as well and take a look at your loved ones. These are those who have provided the shoulders for you to stand on, for you to grow. It is now your turn to be their shoulders to stand on, to be their pillars and their anchors. Please join us in giving them a huge round of applause and thank them for giving the applause at this moment. Now feel free to stay standing, but turn back around towards us. We're going to round off in about 45 seconds here. In closing, it is our hope that in the future, you will take no small sense of satisfaction from this moment, for it is a moment of incredible magnitude.
The moment you realize you have achieved one of the most prestigious master degrees. The moment you realize you can be at home anywhere in the world.
The moment we look at success and happiness as two parts of a whole, and the moment we choose to use our commonalities to truly do something great for this planet. But most of all, it is the moment that, free from all the stresses of study, intensity of exams, and pressures of results and recruiting, we can finally look at each other, smile, and say, we did it.
We did it together.
We're a family now.
And we are family forever.
Thank you,
23D!
Let's go!
We love you!
Go!
Thank you.